Growth means change. Every tree starts out as a seed, and then a sprout pokes through the earth. As it reaches upward, it becomes a seedling, and then a sapling, and finally, it becomes a mature tree, capable of bearing fruit. And through that fruit, one tree multiplies to become an orchard. 32 years ago, Crossroads Church was planted with a vision to be a church family that helps unchurched and de-churched people become fully devoted followers of Jesus. And through the years, Crossroads has grown through multiple moments of change. We started out in September 1991 as we held our first worship service at the Tonydale Restaurant Banquet Room. For 4 years, we saw people far from God find their way back home to Him. Then it was time to change locations. We bought property and built our first building. Crossroaders gave sacrificially and worked tirelessly as we built that facility as volunteers. Once in the new facility, the church grew faster than ever, which produced more change. We became a group-based church and then a multi-site church.
It's fulfilling to see the growth that the Crossroads has had. And over time, you think, I had a small piece of that. And you think, well, if it wasn't for, the founding group, Pastor Steve and the founding group that started this group, how many of those people would not have been invited? And the power of the invitation really tracks back to the origins of the vision. That's what I find inspirational to the mission of Crossroads, is that seasons have changed, buildings have grown, people have changed, but the mission has never changed. It's always about reaching those that are unchurched and need to hear the word.
When I got to my small group, I was totally broken. I was coming from a divorce and had my children, but I didn't want to lose God, but I knew that pain has a way of doing that. My anchor was my small group.
Though the church looks different now as one church in multiple locations, our core purpose has never changed. It's to make disciples who make disciples. We are still the family of God on the mission of God. And we are who we are, and we are where we are because of the faith, sacrifice, and commitment of those who have come before us. We've always been a people who rise up to meet the challenge in front of us. We have been united in our purpose, committed to pursue Jesus best for our lives and for our communities. And today, we're at a new change moment in our history, a crossroads moment. I call this a hinge moment because it will open the door to a new era of our story as a church. We're calling this next season of ministry Magnify. Magnify is a 24-month generosity initiative that will enable us to meet the challenges of the moment and to take advantage of the opportunity to impact the next generation, to leave a legacy of a great harvest.
Our investment into Crossroads is essentially an investment into our children. Our kids are involved in Kids Zone and Kids XP and XRS, and just seeing how their faith has grown, I'm in awe that my kids pray out loud. It took me until I was in my 30s to feel even remotely comfortable praying out loud. And that doesn't all come from us. I feel like investing in the church is investing in our kids' future, in the faith and just developing their relationship with Jesus.
When I was a young adult and I wasn't living for Christ, things that my father said to me about relationship with Christ or things that I remember, from the Bible or from church growing up, they used to echo in my mind. For somebody else to have that opportunity, that excites me because I can see the times when the Holy Spirit snatched me out of something that could have either taken my life or sent me down some terrible path. To think about other young people coming in and having those same experiences where when they're in their 40s, they can say, I know the Holy Spirit kept me from something.
Through the Magnify initiative, we will pursue 3 objectives. Number 1, we will seek God for spiritual awakening. The needs, division, and pain of this world are too great to be healed by human ingenuity. Self-help will not touch the deepest needs of our own souls either. We need a spiritual awakening that changes us and touches the world. God comes where He is wanted, and we will be a people who pursue His presence.
I grew up going to a more traditional church, so coming to Crossroads, I was able to witness people experiencing and feeling the Holy Spirit in a way that I hadn't in the past. And just the concept of having a relationship with Christ is different than what I grew up knowing, and it has allowed me to grow a lot stronger in my faith.
I was healed physically at Crossroads. I was standing in the back, and at that time I was having a lot of pain in my hip and knee, and he just said, someone in the room is going to get healed. And I felt my back crack, and I was healed at that moment. And then the following Sunday, my foot had been bothering me because it was broken. I was standing there and I was like, God, if you healed my body, you can heal the rest of me. And at that moment, he healed my foot. And I'm thinking, nobody's gonna believe that, but that happened. And I haven't had pain in my foot since.
Second objective is we will equip and send everyone with love and power. We will invest in fresh ways to equip every believer to make a difference where they live, work, play, and learn. We're not gathering an audience, we're equipping an army to demonstrate Jesus' love and to declare Jesus' good news of new life.
It's been really profound to me to see how our life group has grown. When we started, we were just members of a life group, and we progressed into leading a life group. Just to see the people who have come through our life group and have then gone on to lead their own life groups, to see the progression of them for, things we've prayed for. And so I think just being able to walk alongside people as we do life has been huge for me.
My small group leader, when I was going through the worst of it, she would call me, and she would meet me for lunch and just say, hey, I want to keep you connected. It was very helpful. It was life-changing. Small group was life-changing.
And thirdly, we will reach and serve the next generation through Magnify. We intend to create kids academies at our West and South locations that will provide Christ-centered daycare and preschool for hundreds of young children. And it will help us to form relationships with young families throughout our area, many of which do not have a relationship with Christ right now.
Just having young kids, I'm really encouraged by the headway that Crossroads is making through Magnify, and I don't know how we're gonna be used, but I know that I just know that we're gonna have a part in it.
And to see that the church is doing its part to continue the generational push through the Magnify program means that there'll be a place for my grandchildren and their children to go for years to come.
Our primary goal in Magnify is 100% engagement. That means we are challenging every one of us to go on a journey of prayer and seeking God, allowing Him to take our generosity to a brand new level. Just imagine the life transformation that can result when each of us asks God, how are you calling me to steward the resources you've given me? How are you calling me to respond to this change moment? And then we follow through on what we hear and we obey Him. That will change our lives. That can change our church. That can change our region. Hearing and obeying God is the essence of discipleship, which is why it's our primary goal.
And with our small group, we all raise our kids together.
So I think about the families that are going to come through the doors and being able to reach those people and come alongside them to do parenting together.
And now it's our turn to plant new seeds of transformation. It's been said, anyone can count the seeds in an apple, but only God can count the number of apples in a seed. And only God can count the fruit that will come as we respond to God's call in this new season of Crossroads history. Disciples can make disciples, groups can multiply groups, and Crossroads Church can multiply the kingdom to the next generation.